This video is to discuss the assignments for Tuesday, December 7th, remote learning. The first assignment is writing. It does say to have your child do the mulberry bush. There is not a mulberry bush page for today. Excuse me. But your child can do it on the trace over the one that they did yesterday, or they could do it on a new page. They could do it on a whiteboard. They could do it in the air with their fingers along with the video, whatever works best for you. And then there is a writing page for today. This is the writing page. If you have not already watched the kindergarten writing video that I made, please watch that. The main thing that we are focusing on in writing in kindergarten is the picture, having the picture go with the words. Give your child about 8 to 10 minutes to draw a picture. Use crayons, use marker, make it a detailed picture, and then write a story to go with the picture. A few sentences long is ideal. Please do not tell your child how to spell every single word. Encourage them to sound it out and write the sounds that they hear, and you can always go back, have them read it to you, and then you write down what they say. That's what we do in class, and that is the ideal way of learning to put those letters and sounds together. Please remember to have your child write his name and preferably the date on the top of the writing paper. After you're done with writing for the day, then you can go on to phonics. Again, we are focusing on the letter B this week, and your child has a song page. It's usually a song or a poem. This one's a nursery rhyme. Read through the nursery rhyme together. Talk about how we are looking for B's and not D's. You might want to write it over on the side like I did and circle the one that you want, cross through the one that is not the B. Go through, look for all the B's. I encourage the kids to take another piece of paper, do one line at a time, because it can be overwhelming looking at this whole thing. After they've circled all of them, go back one line at a time, count how many letters, how many B's they circled, and it's written down here. This does also have a flip side. Read through the poem or the song again, and on the back you draw a picture of what it is. Draw a picture of what's going on. Pick a part of the poem or the song and have your child illustrate it. So I have, it's rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub. So I have 3 men in the tub, the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. That's supposed to be a candle. I'd also encourage them to please color with different colors, not using all the same color. I have not colored this yet. You could tell I just did the outline. The reason they're in the water with the fish is because at the end it says, "'Twas enough to make a fish stare." And we discussed that in class and how silly this poem is, and it's just for a silly rhyme, so your picture should be kind of silly too. When you're done with that, the schedule says, I think I lost my schedule. The activity for today, did I put it back here? I did. The activity today is to try making an uppercase and lowercase b with your body, just to get some physical activity in there, and sometimes that helps the kids remember what the letter is and try to say the letter sound as you're making the letter. For sight words, read through the poem again 1 or 2 times, and then we're focusing on the word for. Write your name at the top, color, and then hunt for the word for. That's all there is to this one. I always encourage the kids to say the word, color it in, and whenever we color it in, we want to color in the whole box, not just scribble over it. If there are any other words on here that your child knows, like this one, this is one that we had last week, we've had this word before, see if they can read those words. If not, that's okay, you can remind them, but we're just focusing on the word for, so we're only coloring the word for here. When you're done with your sight words, we are moving on to math. Again, use your 100s chart, count independently, count along with the videos that are attached, counting to 100 by 1s, by 10s, by 5s, and we're also starting with 20 and counting backwards to 0. The math assignment for today is more about 2-dimensional shapes. You went on a 2-dimensional shape yesterday. I'm sorry, 2-dimensional shape hunt yesterday, and today we're learning that we can make different shapes using small shapes. We can use small shapes to make new shapes. So here we have 2 rectangles, and they put it together and made a square. Here we have 4 triangles that were put together and also made a square. We have 2 triangles put together that made a bigger square, and 2 squares put together to make a rectangle. So this whole paper is just to learn that you can use smaller shapes to create larger pictures or larger shapes. So take a look at the shape that they have here and then color in the shapes that they used to make the bigger shape. Color in how many they used. So here I see a large square, and then I see 4 smaller squares. So I would color in 4 smaller squares because that's what they used to make the large square. Look at the triangle. What did they use to make the triangle? You can even have your child trace and really look at those, count how many, and then color in how many of those were made to make that large triangle. This is an activity you can do at home. It's not mandatory, just an idea. And then we get over here to this side. You don't have these shapes at home, but you can draw lines to show. If you're going to use triangles to make a hexagon, then you're going to have to draw the lines this way to show that you can use 6 triangles to make a hexagon. If you're going to use a rectangle and a triangle, I am not good at these. I'm surprised I got that one on the first try. Let's see, okay. So 2 rectangles. I was thinking 4 triangles. See if you can figure out how you could make this. I was thinking if you do it this way, and then you did a parallelogram and a triangle, that would work. But I can't figure out how. Oh yeah, don't look at that. Anyway, try to figure out how you could use 2 rectangles and 2 triangles to make a hexagon. This is something that you would really need those small shapes that we have in class for, that I was not able to send home. So just play around with it. If it's frustrating, then just skip it. We don't want anybody to be too frustrated. How are different ways that you can make rectangles? Hint, there's some, answers on the front, but you can use squares to make rectangles. You can use triangles to make rectangles. You could try to mix it up. Draw some lines and show me the different shapes that you can use to make a large rectangle. Same with the squares, different ways to make squares. And then on the back, it's simply look at the pictures and talk about the different shapes used to make these pictures. How are these pictures created? What is the picture when you have it all put together? If I use 1 square, 1 hexagon, 4 circles, oh, sorry, that's 2 squares.
Good morning, Miss Murray.
Good morning. And some rectangles, I could make a train. What is this one? How many triangles did they use? How many rectangles? What's going on over here? And maybe you can find some more flat shapes in the picture. So just talking about shapes, focusing on those 2-dimensional shapes today and how you can use shapes to make different pictures or to make larger shapes. That's the focus for today in math.